David Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Stern. In view of the short timing, I'll focus solely on the scandalously insecure nature of the one login procedure. And I'm writing, I should tell the House, I'm writing to the National Audit Office to ask them to investigate it, because apart from the strategic weakness of having a single login, the government's handling of this has been a disaster. As early as 2022, the Information Assurance team responsible for ensuring the security of the system raised concerns that the system was being developed on unsecure workstations by contractors without the security clearance in Romania. When they ran a red team operation to try and see how secure it was, they broke into the system easily, would have been able to put malware in them, and they weren't even detected by the people running the system. So what will happen when this system comes into effect is the entire population's entire data will be open to malevolent actors, foreign nations, ransomware criminals, malevolent hackers, just their own personal enemies, even political enemies. And as a result, this will be worse than the Horizon scandal.
When David Davis M. stood up in Parliament and said the entire population's entire data will be open to everybody, the room went cold. Because what he exposed isn't just another government blunder, it's a digital nightmare already unfolding in real time. Britain's new Digital ID program, sold to the public as a convenient and secure innovation, is turning into a full-blown privacy disaster. Davis warns that the system has already been hacked, meaning millions of citizens could have their personal data from health records to financial details leaked or sold to whoever pays the right price. And yet, the government insists everything is under control. This is what happens when politicians chase control disguised as convenience. Once your entire identity is digitized, you don't own your data anymore. The state does. A system that can track, record, and expose every citizen's private information is not a tool of efficiency. It's a tool of surveillance. David Davis didn't just issue a warning, he pulled back the curtain on a government experiment that's spiraling out of control. His words, "It's already been hacked," should terrify everyone who still believes their information is safe. Because if even the architects of this system can't secure it, how can ordinary people protect themselves? This isn't progress, it's a trap. And as Davis made clear, Britain is walking straight into it, eyes wide open.
It's the coalition of the willing. This is an inception of Sir Keir Starmer's issue.
Yes, well, it's been quite the day for President Zelensky so far, because before he's even met any of the members of the coalition of the willing, he was taken to Windsor Castle, where he was given the honour of inspecting the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards there, along with His Majesty the King this morning. So that's the third time, actually.
It's a bit like Trump. Trump did a bit of that, didn't he?
Well, he did indeed, yes. Well, President Zelensky got to do exactly the same. As you can see, they're walking in front of the King, as is protocol, and not some kind of faux pas, as he said, obviously, when President Trump did that the first time around in his first presidency with Queen Elizabeth. Now, this is the third time that President Zelensky has met King Charles this year. That gives you an indication of just how determined the UK government is to cement what is very much a special relationship between the UK government and Ukraine. Sir Keir Starmer wants to show that despite the change in government, Labour under Sir Keir Starmer is full square behind Ukraine, and although clearly he's still having difficulties in persuading Donald Trump, for instance, to give him the long-range missiles that he wants, the Tomahawk missiles, Britain is showing, along with the coalition of the willing partners, that they are still on Ukraine's side, very much so.
Of course, Volodymyr Zelensky is talking about a humanitarian disaster in Ukraine, because obviously many people are dying. Has he come for more? What is the new upshot of the coalition of the willing now, and who's in it?
Well, listen, President Zelensky's trips wherever in the world are effectively, trips with his hand out. He wants money. He wants weapons to fight that war. Now, the difficulty that President Zelensky and Ukraine and its supporters find themselves in is we're 3.5 years down the road into this war. And while there was a tremendous outpouring of sympathy and support for Ukraine in the first months after Russia invaded, in year one, going into year two, that is slowly but surely dissipating because the UK and so many other countries have their own domestic issues, crippled economies in some cases, where they want to see the billions that are being invested in Ukraine now invested back home. And that's as true with the UK as it is with France, Germany, and so many other nations that want domestic issues prioritised. So it's certainly difficult, I think, for political leaders like Sir Keir Starmer and Emmanuel Macron to keep President Zelensky front and centre of the mindset of their populations and to try to explain to their populations why it's still important to invest in this man, this country, in their efforts to fight Vladimir Putin.
And briefly, Keir Starmer was also talking to Macron about the problem in the Channel. Of course, we're still seeing the crossings, people being sent back, coming back. It's all a bit ridiculous.
Well, yes, I mean, it is really farcical now, to be honest. This man, for instance, the Iranian national, dubbed the Hokey Cokey man because, he's been back and forth across the Channel more times than across Channel Ferry under this one-in, one-out scheme that's nothing of the sort. As we know, it's only ever been 42 out and one of them is already back. So it's a really difficult issue. This returns deal was seen by this government as something that they could trumpet as being a deterrent. It's not going to be a deterrent with 42. It needs to be thousands that are sent back before it could ever be described as any kind of a deterrent. But the other big issue that I'm sure Sir Keir Starmer will be asking Emmanuel Macron for some clarity on is this issue of the pushback tactic. The French police boats pushing the migrant boats back onto the beach in shallow water. We've been told since April of this year, they're just about to do that. They've cleared it through the government. They're going to do it. Not a bit of it. It's not happening. The French police unions don't want it to happen because they don't think the police are going to be backed by the politicians should it go wrong and there are tragic consequences. And actually, France is in political meltdown at the moment. They've gone through Prime Minister after Prime Minister and various interior ministers. It's the very last priority. And it's a priority for Sir Keir Starmer. It's not a priority for them.
So here's what's really going on. Keir Starmer isn't just standing full square behind Ukraine. He's standing squarely behind Washington, NATO, and the old establishment playbook of endless escalation. When Jeed News' Mark White says Starmer is urging allies to send more long-range weapons, what that really means is he's betting Britain's moral capital and its taxpayers' money on a war that has no clear exit strategy. Starmer's move is part symbolism, part survival. He wants to project strength on the world stage, to prove that Labour under his leadership isn't soft on defence. But in doing so, he's quietly walking the same foreign policy line as the Conservatives, a line that's led to years of proxy wars, arms contracts, and political theater disguised as humanitarian concern. This isn't about helping Ukraine stand tall. It's about helping Britain look powerful. It's about optics, not outcomes. While British families struggle with energy bills and inflation, Starmer's government wants to fund missiles that will prolong a conflict thousands of miles away. And let's be clear, calling for more long-range weapons isn't a call for peace. It's a call for a deeper war. Every additional shipment risks widening the battlefield, and every political speech about solidarity masks the grim reality that the West's weapons are fueling destruction, not diplomacy. So yes, Starmer wants to show that Labour is united behind Ukraine. But what he's really showing is that the new Labour looks a lot like the old establishment, polished speeches, polished optics, and the same blind loyalty to the machinery of war.